Welcome back to Joe Stunner Boxing. Hope you're all doing well. I've had a pretty decent day. I hope you have too. Quite a few people said to me, "Did you see the Florian Marku Chris Jenkins fight?" Because I didn't do a video on it. And they were like, "Didn't you see it? It was, it's Florian Marku. It's a good fight." So I did see it. I just didn't do a video. But I thought, all right, I'll do one now. It's a bit belated, a bit after the fact, But Florian Marku is a popular guy. I mean, the amount of people that have said to me, mentioned him to me, and what did you think, and all this sort of thing. Yeah, he sells some tickets. From what I gather, he's I've never seen him fight live, but even when he was at the small all circuit, he was selling lots and lots of tickets. Very, very popular Albanian fighter. And he fought former champ Chris Jenkins at the weekend on the Sky card. Jenkins, former British champion, had a win only 8 weeks ago against a completely shot Julius Ndongo, won on points. And it has to be said that in this fight, Jenkins himself did not look anything but shot. For the first 3 rounds, it was some of the best I've ever seen in box. He's a million miles from being shot. But one punch changed it all, and Marku stopped him in the 4th round. Now, Marku, as popular as he is, as big a ticket seller as he is, the jury is still out for me. It was certainly before this fight, and I've seen nothing to change my mind, although it must be said he's a work in progress. Now, Marku is, like I say, he's from Albania, a big, sort of barrel-chested, tough-looking guy, hits pretty hard, cuts the ring off, is a come-forward guy. There's nothing... how would you say? There's nothing scientific or subtle about him. He's a good fighter, and he's got a lot of promise. But against Chris Jenkins, he was in against a highly motivated guy who was not intimidated by, the big ticket seller reputation, with the army of fans in the audience and all this sort of thing. Didn't seem to bother Chris Jenkins at all. And of course, they had a little altercation at the weigh-in. Jenkins blew a kiss at Marku, and then Marku gets him around the neck and shoves him, and all this sort of crap, And the self-styled Albanian king seems to be one of those guys who's a very emotional fighter. And having said that, in this fight with Jenkins, I thought he handled his emotions very, very well, because he was being outboxed. In the first round, Jenkins certainly took it just on boxing ability, moved a bit, fired quite a lot of punches, landed enough certainly to win the first round. There was a little sort of 5-minute cameo where Marku let his hands go, but Jenkins came right back, and definitely the first round belonged to Jenkins. Second round was closer. There was a bit more activity from Marku. Jenkins boxing well, but Marku seemed to be getting a little bit closer, cutting the ring off a bit more. Towards the end of the round, he turned southpaw, and I don't know for certain, but I don't think that was out of frustration. It was probably too early to be frustration. He's just trying different things, and that implied to me that he's a thinking fighter. He was getting outboxed, but he was thinking about what he was doing, which is, it's a good sign, and he was being patient, which is good. But it was a closer round, the second round, than the first round. The third round, definitely a Jenkins round. There was a clash of heads. Marku was cut over the left eye. And he sort of went, heads, and the ref knew it was heads. Then in the fourth round, all of Jenkins' good work, I gave him the first 3 rounds, all of his good work was undone with one big punch. Landed on the temple, shook him badly. He sort of went onto his haunches, very sort of pronounced, short circuit of the brain, shall we say. Then stood bolt upright. Had enough wherewithal to sort of, dodge a few subsequent punches. But once he stood up, he sort of staggered back into the ropes. Marku jumped all over him. Didn't really land a great deal, but Steve Gray, the ref, stepped in and stopped the fight. Now, I thought that was premature at the time, and I watched this fight earlier today, just because I thought I'll make a video about it, so I thought I want to refresh my memory. And I still kind of think it was a little bit premature. It's by no means the worst stoppage I've seen, and certainly with the benefit of hindsight, it would have been better if Chris Jenkins had taken a knee, definitely. But I just thought it could have gone on for another 5 seconds, because Jenkins, it was one of those temple shots that it sort of detaches you from your legs, so to speak, but you know where you are. Your brain's still fine. You still know where you are. You're still trying to dodge the punches and everything. I'd like to have seen it gone a little while longer. But Marku got the win. Clearly he can bang a bit. Barrel-chested, tough-looking little sod. Very, very... But there was some maturity about him. He was patient, and he was a 10-rounder, so he was probably thinking, okay, I've lost the early rounds, but I'm getting closer, and not without, he cuts the ring off well. See, some people are going to say, well, Jenkins kind of exposed him a little bit, but there's another way of looking at it, a different way of looking at it, which is that you could say, well, this was a really good experience for Marku, because he was in against a guy who was being very slick and was outboxing him, and yet he managed to get close and stop him. So it's now up to Marku and his team to go away, look at this fight, study it. What did I do wrong? What could I have done better? How can I quicken my feet? And I think, is Marku going to go to world level? I wouldn't say that, not yet anyway, but he's going to be a better fighter for this fight, because of the experience of this fight, and he can certainly get to European level if he isn't knocking on the door already. As for Jenkins, like I say, he didn't look shot at all. I mean, that was his 5th defeat, 23 wins, I think there's 3 draws in there. So he's had a long career, and he's not a young man anymore. I think Chris Jenkins is now 33. If he wanted to continue, he could make another run at the British title, definitely. He didn't look like a shot fighter at all, and he's got Gary Lockett in his corner who would tell him the home truth if he felt he was getting towards the end. But I think he could carry on. But it'll be interesting to see where Marku goes from here. He's 29 himself, so he's not exactly a young man, so they've got to fast track him to some extent, but he is... I would say a run for the European title is a possibility. He'll probably pick up a couple of these, I think he's got the IBF international title or some trinket thing that gives him a ranking. But if he wanted to go down the old route, go to the European, the EBU title, I think that would be a good option. So what did you think? Did you see the fight? What do you think of Marku? Do you think the jury's still out? I think he's gradually winning me over. Not yet, but gradually getting there. What do you think? Leave your comments below. If you're new to the channel, of course, subscribe. Please subscribe. Hit the subscribe button. It's free. It takes a second. Hit like if you like the video. Share the video if you liked it. Hit the dislike button if you disliked it. I don't mind. If you're giving me your time, I appreciate it always. Take care of yourselves, and enjoy the rest of your weekend. We shall speak again soon. Bye for now.